Hey, we're glad to have everybody back, and welcome to the John Frederick Show, Common Sense for the Commonwealth. As Steve said, we're broadcasting live from the 40th Annual Conservative Political Action Conference. This is at the very posh Gaylord National Hotel and Conference Center at National Harbor in the People's Republic of Maryland. Glad to have you with us as we rocket our way through Virginia. Hey, joining us now is a candidate for Lieutenant Governor on the Republican side. He is a hot topic here at Cpac, and that is entrepreneur and businessman Pete Snyder. How are you, Pete?
John, hey, good morning. Thanks so much for having me. You know, people say that the Republican Party is reeling, that the conservative movement's on its ropes, and if you walk around here at Cpac, you feel an energy. You know that we are a movement on the comeback. So I'm pretty fired up to be here.
You know, Pete, very interesting as we were meeting people last night coming in. Obviously, a lot of hand-wringing going on within the conservative movement. There's a bunch of different factions, and everybody's got their own favorites for 2016. But really the task at hand is Virginia, and all eyes on the Commonwealth. It's going to be a national profile election that happens on November 5th in 2013. Bob McDonnell, though, not invited. And one of two governors not here, also no Chris Christie. And what do you make of that?
Look, I think Governor McDonnell, while he and I disagree on this transportation tax increase, I certainly hope he does not and do not expect that he will expand Medicaid and Virginia and increase the size and scope of government. But by and large, you know what, he's been a good governor. I think that he would make a great addition. I'm not on the nominating committee here at Cpac or what have you, but you know, I think he's done a great job by and large in Virginia, not for bigger taxes by any means, but yeah, he deserves a shot here. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think snubbing Bob McDonnell made absolutely no sense, especially in view of the fact that Republicans trying to recover in so many ways, get their footing back. Virginia is one of the key states, along with New Jersey, and they got two basically Republican, conservative, popular governors, neither of them here speaking. I don't see how that made any sense at all. Now, Pete, speaking of making sense, on the flip side of this, at 9 a.m., the Attorney General of Virginia, the presumptive Republican nominee for governor, Ken Cuccinelli, is going to deliver what amounts to a keynote speech at Cpac, because he's basically opening the convention. This is going to be on national news. And now that Lieutenant Governor Bill Bolling has dropped out, it's a two-man race. Is this kind of a coming out party, if you will, for Ken Cuccinelli?
Absolutely. I think the eyes of the nation, as you put it, are very clearly and firmly placed on Virginia. Ken Cuccinelli is going to be a wonderful standard bearer. He's been an amazing energizer bunny of an attorney general, fighting the encroachment that's coming out of Washington. And he is absolutely beloved here at Cpac. And I think that the rest of the country is going to get to learn a whole lot about Ken Cuccinelli, what a fighter he is. And Virginia is going to come storming back. We're excited about that in 2013. I hope to be a conservative partner in reform to Ken Cuccinelli. I think we can bring an amazing ticket together and lead yet another Republican sweep of the Commonwealth. It's time for a comeback, John, and Ken's going to lead the way.
You know, Pete, one question I've got is in a two-man race, and I was saying this earlier, there's no doubt that the support for Cuccinelli is rock solid. But it's about 40%. The big question is, without Bolling in the race, it's just Cuccinelli versus McAuliffe. One very conservative, one quite liberal in many ways. And, you know, we hate to throw these labels out, but that's basically the reality of it. How does Ken Cuccinelli, Pete, reposition himself in Virginia to broaden his appeal? How does he appeal to minorities? How does he appeal to women? How does he appeal to soccer moms? How does he broaden his appeal to cobble together 50% plus one?
First and foremost, John, I reject the notion that there needs to be any rebranding done in any way, shape, or form of Ken Cuccinelli. Ken Cuccinelli is an unbelievable fighter. He's an unbelievable fighter for the middle class. There's a reason why in race after race, election after election, Ken Cuccinelli was able to not only win by huge numbers of Republicans, but also independents and pick off Democrats as well. He'll be able to do the exact same thing in this race. I'm looking forward to running alongside of him. I think that most of Virginia hasn't been paying attention right now. They will in the coming weeks and months ahead. And I relish the opportunity to run on a ticket that's reform-based. It's for lower taxes, for lower size and scope of government, versus Terry McAuliffe and whichever LG candidate they have and whichever AG candidate. That's all come out for the largest tax increase in the history of Virginia, wants to expand the size and scope of government, be partners in crime with Barack Obama. That's not going to appeal to the Virginia electorate.
Well, how do you though, Pete, seriously get through that issue when the entire leadership of the Republican Party in Virginia, from the governor to the lieutenant governor to the Senate majority leader to the Speaker of the House, all back this transportation package? How do you then take that, turn it upside down, and pin that on Terry McAuliffe?
John, he supported the largest tax increase in the history of Virginia. It's just very clear. Look, you know and I know that elections come down to individuals. They come down to what you stand for, what you're running on. It doesn't come down to the ghost of the past or who in what third-rate part of your party supported X or Y or Z. This is going to be about Ken Cuccinelli versus Terry McAuliffe. It's going to be about conservative reform and lower taxes and a smaller government versus an ever-expanding Washington and a Democratic Party that simply is out of touch with most taxpayers in America, period.
This is the John Frederick Show, Common Sense News Time, coming up on 7:44. We are live at the 40th Annual Conservative Political Action Conference at the Gaylord National Hotel and Conference Center at National Harbor, Maryland, and we're chatting with Pete Snyder. He is one of 7 candidates for Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. That's going to be decided, by the way, at a nominating convention in Richmond on May 18th. Hey, if you want to get involved in that, here's what you have to do. Go to rpv.org, find out if your county or your municipality is still accepting applications for delegates, or here's what else you can do.
John, I think they can go to I'm in 2013, okay? I'm in 2013. Download your form. Get involved with the convention. Hey, John, just in the remaining time that we have here, I do want to say something. I've noticed just by listening and seeing what you're doing out there, you've been a little bit rough, a little bit on the warpath lately with some of the folks that I'm running alongside of. You gotta dial it in, buddy. You gotta dial it in. You know,
no, I don't think I am, Pete.
You can't take.
And I'll tell you why.
Take
no,
notes
I'm not
and take it out of context and stuff like that. Look, I know you're trying to be an arbiter of the truth, but we have 2 months left in this election. By and large, all of the good men and women that I'm running alongside with, and I note that, I don't say running against, I say running alongside with. This is a multi-candidate, multi-ballot affair. I'd love to win it in the first ballot, but, and we're going to work hard to do that, but the math just might not be there on that first ballot. They're good folks here, and, let's take a Valium, Frederick. You got to dial it back a little bit.
Well, look, Pete, maybe I'll, instead of drinking 10 cups of coffee a day, I'll dial it back to 9. We'll see how that works out. But look, bottom line of this thing is I understand that all of the candidates have to get the delegates of the other candidates. So that really only leaves the media to be able to flush out the truth. And I don't want to put you in an uncomfortable position, but I'll tell you this.
Hang on, I want to put you in an uncomfortable. You said the media. The media has to come down from the high mountain and decide what's good or bad. That's just garbage, John.
Well, that's because the other,
you and I know that. Conservatives do not put the media on this huge pedestal, and you get to determine what's good or what's bad. That is
not determining what's good or bad. But I got to get the truth out, because the other candidates are not going to do that. Because if this was a primary campaign, okay, 6 of the other candidates would be jumping on this comment that Susan Stimson made, and some of the other
nonsense. I fundamentally reject that. And I got to tell you, there are 2 months left of this. I guarantee you, they're going to be. I've already been hit by blocks. They're going to be roadside bombs up against me. Whatever. You are not the arbiter of everything.
I am the arbiter of the truth.
Dial it back.
I'm the common sense conservative.
That's garbage.
That's the bottom line. I'm going to tell you straight out. If Republicans want to win in this state in 2013, and this is going to be a national race, Pete. This is not just a few precincts in Stafford County in Virginia.
Look, John, I believe every single person running alongside. Hang on a second, Frederick. Every single person running in this race would make a very good conservative standard bearer for our party. Yes, I certainly believe that I'd be the best one. I certainly believe that in my real-world experience and actually creating jobs out there and being a conservative reformer is necessary and will be a great addition to the ticket. But, enough already, Frederick.
Well, as long as there are candidates running for the nomination for lieutenant governor or whatever office that don't have the credentials, that don't have the viability, that aren't ready for prime time, that can't come on the show and answer a question, that can't deal with the media, that make statements that alienates minorities and other people, then I'm going to be the guy, out there bringing it to the public. That's my job, and that's what I'm going to continue.
I certainly hope you don't take my context out of my statements out of context, brother.
All right, no problem. Now let's get to the McAuliffe campaign, Pete. In the couple minutes of time that we have, one of the things I was saying earlier is as they consolidate their campaign organization to try to win in November, they basically co-opted the Democratic Party of Virginia. Now, I know that you've been involved in the nuts and bolts of party politics. Don't you think it's a mistake when a gubernatorial campaign basically takes over the entire state party apparatus?
No. No, not at all. When you're the standard bearer for your party, and it seems in this case in time, and actually I welcome it, that the Democrats have to fully and firmly embrace Terry McAuliffe as their standard bearer. No, he should put his own people in there, and if it causes drama and angst among the Dems, well, so be it. That's politics, John.
You think the Republicans should do the same thing?
Absolutely not. Pat Mullins and Ken Cuccinelli get along beautifully. There's a brand new executive director of the RPV, Anthony Reedy. He's doing a great job, has deep Virginia experience. And Ken and Pat and Anthony get along wonderfully. And when I'm on that ticket as well, we're gonna be all systems go, humming on all cylinders. But if Terry McAuliffe wants to gut the base of the party for the Democrats, so be it. Let them do it. Let them go on a reign of terror over there. Let those guys all get their bundies in a bunch, and we'll be plowing ahead.
Now, what about? Let's go to the one down on the Democratic end. I want to kind of have you take your running for lieutenant governor hat off, and just put on your kind of analyst hat. The Democratic primary on June 11th, basically the big race there is Senator Ralph Northam versus Anish Chopra. If you were the nominee, do you have a particular candidate that you would rather run against, or have you thought about it in your mind, hey, if I'm against Chopra, I'm going to do this. If I'm against Senator Northam, I'm going to do that. How's that plan out?
John, I'm a huge college football fan. I always know when you look past the Saturday in front of you, you always get whacked. So I'm focused like a laser beam on this convention on May 18th. I would welcome going up against each and any, and even if the Democrats want to replace one of those guys and fill in with someone else, I'll take them all. My pig rig would be happy to debate each and any one of Jfrs or Senator Northam, and I think my pig rig will do pretty well as well. So bring it on.
All right, now, Pete, I do have to ask you this. You're getting some criticism now from several of your opponents that you've been a little. They're saying you've been a little light on specifics. How do you respond to that?
Well, I think you look at the facts. You look at the information that my campaign is putting out. The issues section of our website, I think, is 4 times longer than any single other of my opponents. I'm the only person who's put together a plan for transportation in being able to push for a major tax reform. I'm the only one who is pushed for specifics and rolling back the size and scope of government by 10%. Heck, I've been criticized on your radio show by Democrats and Republicans alike for being so specific when it comes to the budget cuts that I'd be looking for so that we can actually right-size and rein in the size and scope of government. I've been incredibly detailed with my big idea campaign to aggressively reform education in Virginia. So if you look across the mark, and, John, I've hired hundreds of people in my lifetime, and I got to tell you, I have never hired someone because of their resume. Their resume, what they did in the past, only gets them in the door. It's when they sit down with me, look me in the eye, and tell me what they want to do specifically is the only reason why I hire them. I'm the only candidate in this race doing that, being crystal clear about what I want to do with education reform, continued economic development, and reining in the size and scope of government by 10%.
What do you add to the Ken Cuccinelli campaign? If you were the lieutenant governor candidate, what do you add to the ticket that the others don't? What is it that you bring to the table that the other 6 don't?
John, you and I both know in the country and in the Commonwealth, and this is even before sequestration, jobs in the economy are the number one issue facing our country and our Commonwealth. I'm the only one in the race for all 3 offices that has real-world job-creating experience. I not only created a company, I helped found an industry. I don't have an issue in the world with the business community. My support across the board is growing each and every day. I think I bring conservative principles that have been tested for the past 20 years and a real-world job-creating record unlike anyone else.
I get the resume. When you're out on a campaign trail, how do you broaden the base? I mean, one of the things that I've been saying is that we think that Ken Cuccinelli's support in Virginia is right now it's about 40%. It's rock solid. He's got to get to 50% plus 1. And look, you know what? I'm not going to spin this because I am the broker of the truth. And Cuccinelli has got a lot of negatives. I mean, you look at survey after survey after survey.
He's got a problem with women.
He's got a problem with minorities. He's got a problem with a lot of different segments that view him as too strident and too right-wing. So my question is, what do you bring to the table? How do you broaden that appeal? Because as it stands on the surface, the guy's got a lot of negatives. These are what the surveys say. It's not me.
John, I'm going to be looking at your ratings, and your surveys are going to be falling after the garbage that's coming out of your mouth these days. Look, first and foremost, I fundamentally reject your premise on Ken. He has won every single election he's been involved in, winning over independents and Democrats. I'm going to be proud and excited to run alongside with him. But I think I bring a lot to the table. Not only exciting the core base and constituency of our party, both fiscal and social conservatives, but also bringing in independents, and the business community. You read time and time again, article after article, about what is the business community going to do? They don't like X, they don't like Y. I have a massive base of support in the Virginia business community. You know why? Because I've been a part of it. I've been an innovator and a job creator for the past 15 years. And, I'd like to believe, I guess I'm getting a little bit longer in the tooth. I just turned 40 this year. But I would like to believe generationally I'm going to be able to pick off a few more independents and maybe even a handful of Ds than your average Republican bear. And that's what I bring to the table.
So if you were the lieutenant governor nominee, do you see that you'd be a net plus?
Absolutely. I mean, look at where we're taking our campaign. We're going into areas of the Commonwealth where I got to tell you, John, they don't have a record of voting for Republicans. They don't look like you and me. We're going into areas that have some of the worst school districts in the Commonwealth. And you know what? They don't want to hear from a Republican candidate for lieutenant governor. But they do want to hear when I talk to them about getting their children out of the cycle of dependency and failing schools. And when we start talking education reform and bringing free market values into our education system and giving their children a future and hope, you know what? They start paying attention. And only when they pay attention do we have a shot in hell of winning hearts and minds, John. That's what I'm doing with this campaign. It might not get me all the delegates that I need. I mean, time might better be spent in lily-white areas. But you know what? We're taking this everywhere because we have a conservative-minded, big ideas agenda that's going to reignite our party, get us fired up, and help, along with Ken Cuccinelli, lead us to victory in 2013. That is what it's all about. You play big or you go home, buddy. That's it.
All right, that's it. Play big or go home. Pete Snyder, candidate for Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. That's going to be decided at a nominating convention on May 18th in Richmond. And you can get involved in that. Just go to I'm in 2013. That's an app, IN2013.com. Hey, Pete, thanks for joining us.
Hey, John, Dr. Snyder, recommendation 2 Valium. Cool it, buddy. Cool it. Bye.
Hey, I just want to get at the truth and stop the nonsense that's going on with some of these candidates and their campaigns that are trying to sway delegates and kick people out when the GOP needs to bring people in. This is the John Frederick Show. We're live from Cpac.